I think there's an issue that people aren't talking about with gay marriage. There's a lot of things that they beat around the bush with.
Kurt Russell's career transformation is nothing short of extraordinary. Once celebrated as a Hollywood A-lister, he's now a polarizing figure challenging the norms of the woke culture. While Hollywood continues to embrace trends like body positivity and new gender labels, Kurt has taken a firm stance against what he sees as absurdities that belong in the realm of fantasy. This shift has turned him into both a hero and a villain, depending on whom you ask. But what drives Kurt to speak out so boldly? Is he Hollywood's last bastion of traditionalism? Or is there a deeper motivation behind his rebellion against the woke narrative?
I'm a libertarian, so my beef with advantages given to anybody because they happen to live together and have a ring and have had a ceremony. I don't think married couples should get an advantage of any kind. So my beef isn't as a political move. It's not with gay marriage. It's with why does anybody get an advantage over anybody else because they happen to live with somebody and have a family? I don't follow that.
Kurt's opposition to societal advantages for married couples is a prime example of his libertarian principles. For him, it's not about opposing gay marriage or any political movement, but questioning why any relationship status should grant privileges. This philosophy mirrors his broader views on equality, emphasizing fairness over favoritism. It's a bold stance in a world increasingly defined by labels and categorizations, challenging the societal structures that many take for granted.
You know, my personal feeling is that there's a big difference between fantasy land and reality. Fantasy land is what we do. You're either writing something, writing a song, writing a book, doing a movie, doing a television show. That's fantasy land. Mm-hmm. And that's where that stuff belongs.
Kurt Russell has consistently drawn a sharp line between fantasy and reality. To him, Hollywood is a place for escapism, where storytelling belongs in fantasy land, not as a platform to enforce social ideologies. This belief fuels his critique of woke culture, which he sees as a distortion of reality. By openly rejecting these ideals, Kurt has become an outlier in an industry that often blurs the boundaries between art and activism. Is he right to call out this cultural shift, or is he missing the bigger picture?
I've been thinking a lot about some of the distressing issues that we are facing collectively, whether we're talking about gender inequality or racism or queer rights.
Not everyone in Hollywood is thrilled about Kurt's outspoken views. Major players, including Disney, seem to distance themselves from his anti-woke rhetoric. Yet Kurt isn't alone in facing backlash. Actors like Mel Gibson and Jon Voight have also experienced the fallout of going against the grain. As the woke culture continues to dominate the industry, the question remains, is there room for dissenting voices, or is Hollywood becoming a monolithic echo chamber?
You can say what you want. I don't agree with that. So it's not my thing.
But it's statistically...
Well, you can look. If you think gun control or something like that is going to change a terrorist point of view, I think you're like out of your mind. I think anybody is. I think it's absolutely insane.
Kurt's firm stance on gun rights further exemplifies his defiance against woke culture. He's unapologetic in his belief that gun control won't deter criminal behavior, labeling such ideas as naive. His perspective challenges the mainstream narrative, sparking debates about personal freedoms versus collective security. By refusing to conform, Kurt solidifies his position as one of Hollywood's most controversial figures.
A place like this can humiliate you. Mm-hmm. And it can humiliate you, it can be humbling. I mean, it does rip your life to pieces. Does it? If you'll let it.
Yeah. Hollywood can be a double-edged sword, as Kurt knows all too well. While the industry can elevate careers, it can also dismantle them. Kurt's resilience comes from his refusal to chase approval through likes and comments. With a deep understanding of history and politics, he's equipped to tackle debates head-on, making him a formidable opponent for those who challenge his anti-woke stance.
So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and fuck off.
Kurt's advocacy for gun rights aligns with his broader philosophy of individual freedom. He's not one to mince words, urging people to focus on practical solutions rather than idealistic narratives. His unwavering stance makes him a unique voice in Hollywood, where many shy away from such controversial topics.
You may think you've got me worried about what you're going to do. Dude, you're about to find out what I'm going to do. And that's going to worry you a lot more.
Kurt Russell's critiques of woke culture go beyond simple disagreements. He argues that woke ideology imposes restrictive categories, stifling creativity and freedom. Despite facing accusations of insensitivity, he's remained steadfast in his mission to expose what he sees as the dangers of this cultural movement. His ability to articulate his points without resorting to insults highlights his intellectual approach to the debate.
Sometimes you get what you feel is slightly ambushed by somebody who's really got an agenda, and that's sort of, I think, that's my opinion of what happened to me the other day. The last thing I like to watch is entertainers or actors get political. It's just something I can't stand watching.
Kurt's disdain for entertainers diving into politics stems from his belief in preserving artistic expression as a sacred space. He has often clashed with Hollywood elites who attempt to suppress his dissenting views. Yet his on-screen portrayals of rugged anti-heroes mirror his real-life persona: independent, resolute, and unafraid to stand alone. This defiance of Hollywood norms highlights his broader critique of woke culture, which he views as an overreach of ideological conformity into realms that should prioritize creativity and free expression. Kurt argues that woke culture, despite its claims of inclusivity, often imposes rigid rules that stifle originality. This movement's emphasis on canceling individuals for dissenting opinions, he believes, has created a culture of fear in the entertainment industry. Actors, writers, and filmmakers are hesitant to voice their true thoughts, wary of the professional and personal repercussions that come with opposing the dominant narrative. Kurt sees this environment as a betrayal of Hollywood's roots, a place that once celebrated bold ideas and diverse storytelling. He contends that the growing obsession with ideological purity risks alienating audiences who seek authentic entertainment. By conflating art with activism, the industry risks losing its core purpose: to inspire, entertain, and challenge without prescribing a singular worldview. However, Kurt's critiques do not come without controversy. Critics accuse him of being out of touch with modern progress and dismiss his views as relics of a bygone era. They argue that woke culture has brought much-needed attention to issues of representation and equity, creating opportunities for marginalized voices that were historically excluded from Hollywood. Kurt counters by emphasizing that true equality comes from fostering a culture of meritocracy rather than one dictated by quotas and fear of backlash. Despite the polarization surrounding his views, Kurt's legacy as a maverick remains intact. His roles as a rugged anti-hero on screen reflect his off-screen persona, an individual who values independence and refuses to compromise his beliefs for societal approval. As Hollywood continues to evolve, the question lingers: will it find a balance between advocacy and artistry, or will voices like Kurt's be drowned out in the pursuit of ideological conformity? Kurt's unwavering stance challenges the entertainment industry to reevaluate its priorities. While his detractors label him a provocateur, his supporters see him as a guardian of artistic freedom. Whether Hollywood heeds his warnings or doubles down on its current trajectory, one thing is certain: Kurt Russell's legacy will continue to spark debate about the intersection of creativity, ideology, and the future of entertainment. Kurt Russell's fearless stance against the mainstream inspires a deeper conversation about freedom, creativity, and individuality in entertainment. Do you believe Hollywood can find a balance between advocacy and art? Or is Kurt's vision of pure escapism the path forward? Join the discussion in the comments below and let your voice be heard. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking stories on culture and the figures who shape it.